All right. Okay. So we've had some technical gremlins this morning. So we are about to go live for our third, maybe fifth attempt. I don't know. I've lost count. But we are going to talk about design elements today, which I'm really looking forward to, Glennie D. So I'm just going to share our presentation to get the day started. And what are the three things that you love about this project that we're going to be talking about today?
I love, Miss B, that this project has a design element, which we'll be talking about the elements of design. And it also has a practical element, obviously the making. And also I love the third thing is that we can upcycle materials. It's not only cheap, but it is an incredible imagination exercise in looking and manipulating, cutting.
Yeah. Material science, understanding, what you can do. Look, it's got great scope, this project, right from primary through to secondary and more advanced, like textiles design and looking at how we can reuse fabric. And I just love design elements. They really help tell the story behind your design, and give it energy and convey the beauty of it, really, or the function. So let's get started. You've put together this presentation for us. They are very colorful. So let's talk about the elements design to kick this off. And then we'll be moving into drawing some examples of what we think could be used as an upcycled example and a drawing of that, all the way through to also sharing a resource with you that we've created. So let's go, Glennie D.
Great. Well, you can see on your screen, let's grab the mouse here, Miss B. Let me just guide you down to this image. And I've selected this one because it's an example of using color. So color is one of the elements. The elements are the very building blocks that we use to create designs. How we put those together, we'll talk about later on. But for the moment, you can see that we're using line here. Here's a curved line, and that brings your eye around and up to the top here. We've got a focus. We've got a bead here right in the center. So we've got this balanced and all that sort of thing. So we're using texture. You can see this has a textured finish, this enamel. And space. So we've got this space in here. Even though it's space, it still counts towards the overall working of the design. There's also practical elements in terms of whether it's going to catch on your hair, whether it's moving as you walk.
Yeah.
But we're looking at the basic elements of design today. And color is probably the boldest one. So I've included the color wheel here, and just quickly you can look up all sorts of things like monochromatic. Say for the pink, I could use different values of the pink, but keeping it all one hue or color. I could use the try method. So we basically pick any of these and look for the colors that are evenly spaced. So if I'm picking this one, it will be here and here. So
like creating a triangle, right?
A triangle, yep, triadic. And those colors are good, will always look kind of good together, bold but balanced. And I think we'll go on to the next slide, Miss B.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that takes us into principles of design. So I think we should clarify the difference between the two. And I always use an analogy around...
That's a good one.
You like that one?
You were telling me before we came on.
Yeah, it's really powerful to create a tasty visual, something that's really appealing when we're designing, particularly earrings, that are decorative. So what I likened it to is if you went to your refrigerator, for instance, and you looked inside at all the food, there's all different types of food in your fridge. So they're the elements. So the design is elements are like the ingredients, but the principles of design are more like the recipe. We've got to understand how to put together those different ingredients, those different elements to make something really tasty visually. And so that's sort of like the analogy that I liken it to, and the two differences.
I like that. So you could throw any elements in together, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work as something tasty to eat.
No, and people have a natural, they're drawn naturally to different colors and textures and lines, and then, you know, creating repetition around color or balance and to create emphasis.
I'm going to take that a little further. Everyone knows you've all got a favorite taste, but you might not have the language to talk about that. Some people go to a cooking class and learn about why things work with other things. And that's what design principles are about, learning why.
It gives us a language to basically express what's working and how to discuss that. So when you're actually working on a project, the design elements and principles are a really important part of that language that will help you explain, you know, your design and the function, purpose of that. Yeah.
So for instance, that last one we were looking at had a number of lines creating these shapes, and these were all leaning in towards one point, and that tends to draw our eye to focus on this area. And that's one simple example of that. Another one might be using circles. And instead of having circles like that, we could have the circles moving, so the center is here, and that's rhythm, or a repeated object. Okay, so we're repeating these elements and we're looking at the design principles here. There's lots of them, and you learn more as you progress through your design training, but we only need a few to get started.
Yeah, you might choose one or two today to practice with us, but what we're going to do is jump straight into drawing some examples using these design elements, and so looking at some materials and some simple ways that you could potentially create a beautiful piece of jewelry and give it as a gift, potentially.
Absolutely.
Maybe even to your teacher or somebody else. I mean, everybody in my house at this rate is going to get
Christmas. We'll be getting jewelry. Don't tell them. Here is a surplus or a leftover metal washer. It's zinc plated.
Hang on a second, Glennie D. I am going to stop sharing this screen so everyone can have a better view.
Great, thank you, Miss B. So I'm on my side. I am going to learn to draw. At some stage, all designers probably learn to draw in 3D. So I'm going to draw an ellipse. An ellipse is basically what you'd find on a tin can. So this is a circle tipped over. Yeah, so I've got an ellipse. I'm going to give it a little bit of thickness there.
So you're drawing that washer.
Yeah, so that is that washer turned side on a little like that. Mm-hmm. And in the center, if I wanted to draw a hollow washer, I would just tip the splat. Notice how I've got it on its edge. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter whether you use it that way or that way, it's the same thing. But I am going to offset, I'm going to draw another washer here and then give it some thickness as well. So now I've got two washers, 1, 2. I'm going to add...
So you're using the repetition of shape.
Yes, the repetition of shape. Mm-hmm. And I'm instead of drawing another round piece of plastic, I could change the shape. Let's have a go at drawing.
So contrasting then.
Yep, contrasting. I'm overlapping these shapes to create a little bit more visual interest. So really quickly, this could be a bottle top that's cut out. You were saying earlier that you've been using blue bottle tops and things like that.
Yeah, bottle tops are great, and they come in all different colors. You know, it might be that you get some brown bottle tops off a chocolate milk container, or light blue, dark blue. There's green ones. So it really is a great density of plastic, so that, and it's not overly brittle, that the students can work really easily to maybe cut out different shapes. And already it's colored, so it adds a vibrancy there. So yeah, it could be something that you choose to do.
Cool. I'm going to add another loop around the other way. So if I turn the splat on its back now, what I'm actually drawing is a loop that's going to come up over here like this. So we've got a different element. Let me just draw it in pen for you so you can see. So this could be the ring pull from an old piece of metal, something that you found, something recycled. Let's draw maybe a bead on top there. Let's draw the wire loops and boom, your hook. I can tidy that up a little bit now. Let's trace around that. Are you going to have a go at drawing something, Miss P?
Yeah, I certainly am. I'll have a go at drawing mine. I'm thinking that with this, the attachment might be interesting here for younger students. So it might require soldering or something like that. I've got an option today that doesn't require soldering. It's also looking at circles in terms of shape. So
geometric.
Yeah. So what I've actually found is an old earring. So it's actually existing earring, but I want to sort of like, you know, upcycle it,
Jewelry
change
hack.
it. Yeah, just make it something new and exciting, because I think we all need that every now and then. So what I found is I have found this beautiful fabric. So this is like a floral. It's got purples and greens and pinks. It's got a lot of color. It doesn't have a lot of texture like denim would, for instance. And we've got a few photographs that we'll go back and look at in a minute of different textures and stuff. But it's really pretty. It's very soft. So it's sort of Glennie D's is quite industrial. Mine's going to be quite soft. And I was thinking that if I actually took this and found a way to wrap it around the actual earring and then secure it, I could make like a bow, a really cool bow.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that up now so I can communicate that idea with you. So again, we're going from looking at a circle hoop, which we all know has got the little clip and so we can wear it as an earring. So I'm going to just come around here and draw my ellipse, which is just the circle in 3D. I'm going to bring that out a little bit and just create some thickness there to it. And I'm going to just put the pin there so you can see where that goes in. Now, a bow will come to the center of that circle. So when I'm looking at that like that, I'm going to bring it down. So the actual section where it's all gathered and tapered in the middle will be in the center. So I'm going to find roughly the center of my ellipse. So say there, roughly. And then I'm going to actually draw a line through. So basically it's drawing a line through my circle. But of course I have to do it on the isometric axis. So I'm just going to draw that lightly in. And then what I can do is I can go above a certain height and below, and then above that line and below.
Above and below.
Yep.
So I'm just drawing front on what you're doing.
That's right.
Isometric.
Yep. Yep. And then in the center here, I'm going to have like a gathered sort of part to the fabric. So I need to put that into my design, and then the rest of the fabric will radiate from there. So I'm just going to come in here and quickly do, say,
Yep.
And then I'm going to
see where you're going.
I'm going to bring it out to those points, and then I can add a little bit of curve to it if I want to. So I'm going to bring my design out here, and because I'm wrapping it around, it'll be a bit bulky around the outside. And I'll just put some lines there so we can see where that's come into, and then it'll be a little bit softer in the middle. It won't be like a rectangle. It'll sort of be a bit softer. I'm going to come up here. And I'm bringing in the bottom then. And so I can curve that a little bit and make it a bit softer, different lengths of lines there to convey that it's gathered, a few in the center to convey that that's gathered. And I can do that simply with a cotton and thread and secure that on there if I wrap it quite tightly. Now I've gone for some lovely floral colors because I've actually wrapped the fabric around. It's not going to repeat the pattern of the fabric. It's going to be overlaid. So I have to convey that in my design. So it might just be that I put different colors at different places between these gathers or folds, so that we're sort of getting the idea of it. So
even with something so simple, I could experiment for hours, pulling different fabric, pulling different directions, using different elements to pull it in the waist. So I love the experimenting with design.
What I like about this too is that I'm practicing using the design elements to create a design, but then everything that I'm choosing to use, I've got at home. So it's something that very simple, like materials that you'd be able to get your hands on. And so I'm just coming through here and making a bit of color, and I'll come through here again. And so then you just want to lighten it on the folds. And then obviously I need to add greens and all sorts of things. So I'd probably add some green in here, a little bit here, and then more into here. Anyway, You are getting the idea. I'm not going to
I'm
make you
getting the
spend
idea,
all
yeah.
day watching
That's
me
great.
color, but this is basically.
Yeah, that's really effective. I can
I need
I can
red or
totally
something.
understand. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be a piece of art, but in terms of a design drawing, I totally get what you're trying to achieve there.
Well, thanks, Glennie D. And look, there's no orange. Glenn likes to put orange in everything.
Love the orange.
Love the orange. Yeah, so that's a really simple way to convey that design and upcycle an existing earring with some fabric to change it, which is a really simple textiles. Did you want to quickly, just before we go,
Yeah, I did have a few more
again?
slides. So
Yeah,
I've done a quick Pinterest and a look around for upcycled. And I wanted to show you, we'll go to present.
Yeah, oh, hang on. You're quicker than me. So let's just share my screen here. And I will present this design
I think that's
for
the
you.
first time you've ever said that I'm quicker. Okay, great. So let's go on to the next slide now.
Yep.
And
so there we've got more texture. So you'd have to be able to convey that different, really dark, almost black, tiny threads in there with a lighter blue.
The structure of the fabric, all to do with the weave, and that looks great.
And I really like the repeating pattern of the shape
the repetition
of the
of the same shape, but we've got a difference in color.
Yes.
Same kind of texture.
It'd be interesting to look at these colors on the color wheel. Right. So, you know, it's like, is that a really, really dark navy blue and then a lighter blue and then a blue into the green? So definitely you can have a look back at the color wheel and have a look how they've used that element, design element, to create something that's really attractive there.
If you use one hue on the color wheel and then you use the next one beside it, they'll always work. It's not a lot of contrast, but they say it's like the blue here in the middle harmony, is the main color, harmony, and the other one beside it is the backup singer.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And then we had these ones. Now, I really liked the fish. I thought the fish was awesome.
I saw the fish. I would use that for inspiration. It's not earrings there, but that could be adapted to you. Who doesn't love old jeans made into something and keep those close to you? I love it. So I would definitely use the fish as inspiration and then maybe modify it somehow and make it your own.
Yeah, if you're looking at denim, certainly I think it's a very like popular type of textile, type of material that we get our hands on. And just think like one of my old sets of jeans would be able to be cut up to make many earrings. So it might just be that you challenge the class in terms of resources, that we've got one pair of jeans and we want to have as many different combinations of earrings out of these jeans as possible. So there is so many playful narratives that you could come up with for this project.
I agree, Spee. And even the stitching in the leaves here, the nice natural kind of form with the stitching, it looks very harmonious, it's balanced. So this would be something you could get away like a denim skirt. You could throw something like that.
Again, monochrome. So again, it's just green. Having that harmony.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting too, compared to the vibrancy of the very first earrings. But look, I guess that's about it. Like I said, that the project has great scope in terms of age and types of materials you use. If you want something more serious that your seniors can get their teeth into, we have a great resource with TPD that gives you all the assessment rubrics and assessment details and outlines and things like that. And we've put together some videos to teach your students about design elements in a bit more depth. But yeah, as you can see here with textiles, it's an awesome project where we can look at so many different simple techniques to practice using those design elements.
Using tools. Look, it really is a fantastic project. I'm so impressed with the teachers I'm talking to, what they're doing in their classrooms. There's a lot of scope. It's not an expensive project. A lot of those parts, if you want the French hooks and the beads and these, you can get them for next to nothing online.
Absolutely. So I have really enjoyed that today. Is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up, Glennie D?
No, I would just like to say thank you so much for joining in, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing and you're thinking about maybe using it in your classroom. Love to see what you're doing. Share your images. I'm Glennie D. Miss
And I'm
B?
Miss B, yes. And have a fantastic week, whatever you're doing. If you would like a video made for a project at your school, then simply just email us at admin@splat3d.com. All the links for the resources are below. And I'm looking forward to next week. We haven't got many left before Christmas. So it's a busy time of year, folks.
All right, see you soon.